change its fuel importation system and access the Kenya Pipeline Company's system for transportation of the commodity. Uganda has moved to the East African Court of Justice seeking to compel Kenya to allow it to import fuel under its new system, which designates Uganda's national oil company, or UNOC, as a sole importer of refined petroleum products, breaking a previous arrangement where Kenya's oil marketers sold fuel to Uganda's oil marketers. Now, in a suit filed in December 2023, Uganda has also taken exception to a high court decision temporarily blocking the granting of a license to UNOC by EPRA. Brenda Wanga with the details.
The tussle between Kenya and Uganda over the importation of Uganda's petroleum products has moved to the East African Court of Justice corridors. Uganda is suing Kenya over her refusal to allow it to use the Kenya Pipeline Company infrastructure to move its refined petroleum products from Mombasa port to Uganda under a new arrangement as directed by Uganda's cabinet.
Honorable members.
In the suit, Uganda accuses Kenya of denying its entity, the Uganda National Oil Company, the rights to operate as an oil marketing company, OMC, in Kenya. Uganda, through the UNOC, had sought to move fuel products through Kenya Pipeline, but was directed to register as an oil marketer by Kenya. Oil marketer in Kenya by the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, a move that would allow UNOC to import and export petroleum products through Kenya and use the country's pipeline to do so. EPRA had asked UNOC to fulfill a number of requirements, including business registration certificates, identification documents for all directors, work permits, tax compliance certificates, proof of financial capability, including proof of sales of volumes of 6.6 million litres of super petrol, gas oil, or A1 jet oil or kerosene in Kenya, evidence of operating 5 licensed retail stations and operating a licensed depot with a turnover of $10 million over the last 3 years. UNOC could not provide all the required documents and found some of the requirements a burden, arguing that it was a fully state-owned company in Uganda that only sought to transport products through Kenya and had no intention of doing business in Kenya. It sought exemption, which Kenya said it would consider at cabinet level. A case filed at the Machakos High Court on the 7th of November 2023 that listed Royani Energy Limited as the first petitioner, Charles Kombo the second petitioner, John Kinuthia Mwangi and Acacia Ridge Construction as third petitioner, against the Energy Cabinet Secretary, the Attorney General, the Director General of EPRA and UNOC sought to stop the granting of exemptions, with Justice Francis Rayola Olel granting conservatory orders against any such exemption for Uganda's national oil company, UNOC. Uganda, in its suits at the East African Court of Justice, holds Kenya's government responsible for this delay in granting exemptions. Uganda is seeking to have the licensing protocols imposed by EPRA on the UNOC declared irrelevant, irrational and illegal. Uganda, in the court documents, also accuses Kenya of going against the treaty for the establishment of the East African Community by restraining EPRA from issuing the OMC license to Uganda. It further wants the court to declare that the landlocked country does not require a license from EPRA to access the Kenya Pipeline Company's systems and transport petrol from Mombasa to Uganda. And finally, it wants Kenya to unconditionally accord UNOC, a service supplier of the Republic of Uganda, commercial terms for the use of the Kenya pipeline, no less favorable than it accords to other suppliers. And it also wants a permanent injunction issued against Kenya from imposing unrealistic restrictions to UNOC accessing the KPC. Uganda currently imports 90% of our refined petroleum products through the port of Mombasa and transports them to Uganda through the Kenya state-owned pipeline company, KPC. Uganda's petroleum product supply has been handled by the oil marketing company, OMCs, and through the government-to-government arrangements between Kenya and foreign governments adopted in early 2023 by Kenya, meaning that the OMCs operating in Kenya import petroleum products and in turn sell the same to Uganda's OMCs. Uganda argues that the complete reliance and dependency on Kenyan OMCs to import and supply petrol products to Uganda has exposed it to supply vulnerabilities, resulting in avoidable increases in fuel pump prices, hence the decision by Uganda to import directly through UNOC. But as Uganda waits for the case it has filed at the EAC to be heard and determined, it is expected to cease buying fuel from Kenyan OMCs after it entered into a 5-year contract with an Arab company that will now supply its entire fuel needs. Brenda Wanga.
Well, let me begin with you, Mr. G. What do you make of Uganda taking us to court? And now they want to do their business directly with the Arabs. Wametutoa kwa hiyo, we're no longer the brokers. Tulijigamba na G2G, now ni kama kitumbua sasa kimezidi kuingisha mchanga. What do you make of all this, Mr. G?
I think Uganda have noticed that there's something between the Arab country and Kenya ambao wamekuwa wakifichwa for a very long time, and hii kitu ni Kenya wamekataa kuwa, but Kenyans are not transparent to them, so that's why they want to do it themselves, at least to see how this. I think they know what happens, but they have come to a realization that there's something hidden. There's an hidden agenda between Kenya and Arabs and them, so they want this thing to be known. Na Kenya kama hawataki watu wajue nini kunaendelea. You know, Kenyans, most of them they are corrupt. These guys ambao wako pale, most of them they are corrupt. So always wanaenda pale Arabs wananunua mafuta, wakija the same way the Raila alituambia wana add more money above what is required. Sasa wanauzia Uganda with an extra charges. So say, sasa Waganda wamekasirika, they don't want this thing. It's extras in our cost. They don't want to pay this extra money. That's why they want to do it themselves direct. Lakini kumbuka Wakenya wamekataa, mpaka wanaambia price wapatie certificate. Why? Kwa sababu hawataki hao jamaa kuja wagundue hii siri ambayo kwa natumia. Yeah, the thing is Kenyans are so corrupt. Na wamekataa kufanya vitu transparency. That's why it is costing us. The transparency ambayo iko Kenya ni kidogo sana kwa mtu ambaye anafanya nao business. They want to eat everything. Hawataki kujua kama watu wengine wanaumia ama nini, as much as wamepata pesa au wanataka tu wanyakue. So that's why hata tumepoteza this people, kwa sababu most of them wameamua kwenda in a Tanzania way. The Ugandan people wameamua waende upande wa Tanzania wafanye nao huko business. Kwa sababu gani? Kwa sababu in Kenya there's no transparency, everything ni mashida, ni conmanship inaendelea sana in Kenya.
Well, Captain, what do you make of us being taken to court by Uganda?
You know, this thing, Jake, is becoming very difficult to understand, because even the other day, Ugandans they were telling us now we are moving our oil from Mombasa to Tanzania and then to Uganda. So now again they are taking Kenya to court over the same issue. I don't know where the problem is. Not forgetting that William Ruto are friends with Museveni. According to the conditions that they have given there, I think they should have their own license to operate, or what? Maybe I don't know. Let us look it under that point of view, whereby Ruto and Museveni, they are together. When they will have that license to operate by themselves, how will it be? How will it be? We have to check that one. Naona Uganda hata kwanza hapo kwa license ndio watakuja kutukalia kichwa hapo. Hii kutupeleka East Africa Community hii ni kufumba macho hii. We have to look on that thing very well, because now the Uganda themselves, they be operating in the country. The name of their license to run their own oil, whatever. I saw somebody saying who is maintaining the pipes and all whatever. Yeah, itakuwa shida kwa serikali ku maintain pipes kama ameshapewa license. And that is what I know Chirchiri wants Uganda to run by themselves. They bring fuel from Maju, huko Saudi or whatever, Waarabu huko. From Mombasa, Kenya itawauzia hapo. Uganda wanafanya mambo yao, Kenya wanapeleka mafuta yao. Bado hii case ni mbichi. Hebu discuss vizuri.
Mr.